So the Twin Cities metro area is very unique in the fact that it has three major river systems that kind of all come together there. You got the Mississippi, you got the St. Croix, you got the Minnesota.
Along with countless streams that actually dump into them. Some of them are really small and shallow, some of them have some depth and more current.
The backwaters are any water body, I would say, that are in the river valley. So you'll notice when you get close to the St. Croix, Minnesota, or Mississippi, there you generally have bluffs or really large hills, I would say.
You got your floodplain lakes, which only refill well it's flooding. So there may be a creek or something coming in and out of it, but when they actually like refill is when the river floods. Then you got your oxbow lakes, which are directly connected to the river still. And so they can get fed by the river, you know, throughout the year, whether the water goes up or down, whatever.
And your secondary offshoot channels, usually that go against the normal flow of the current, just areas of dead water, essentially, where these fish can really hide and tuck into. So we like to target all of them, and some of them at different times of the year.
But this isn't just like, you know, we're fishing little chutes off the side of a river channel. It's realistically a huge area that we kind of consider the backwaters, and it's pretty much all of the water that either feeds into or is filled up and replenished by the river themselves when they flood.
And now we come back to where it all began, the Twin Cities metropolitan area. Located within 60 miles of downtown Minneapolis is the fabled crappie capital that most can only dream of. Lakes and rivers sprawling with habitat, seemingly a genetic anomaly. It produces the largest top-end crappies you can find anywhere in the ice belt. And these fish are largely only targetable when its waters are delicately sealed under a firm cap of ice. Teeming with the pressure of ice communities established across the lakes and the challenge of cracking the code on crappies hell-bent on moving from shallow to deep and everywhere in between, we once again find our crew coming home.
So we are out here, like Griff said, he was here yesterday, kind of worked around in this backwater. Like we've told everybody, a lot of backwater fishing is trial and error. One we're on now hasn't been good in a while, so this is kind of new, but he came back, caught a few fish the other day, and they were hanging around brush. So we're gonna be fishing around some brush piles. We'll show you what they look like on 360 in a little bit as well, but hopefully they're relating to the brush again. We probably need the sun to get higher. We got here pretty early, just to see if there was a morning bite, but gonna get after it, see what we can do. I'm excited to be on ice. There's probably about 3.5, 4 inches, and I'm gonna keep being safe, but should be able to have some fun.
There we go. First one. There we go. Good little start. Little guy. They'll get much bigger. It's nice to see in these backwaters you get a different variety of sizes too, which is kind of cool. You don't know if it's going to be an 8 or an 18. I mean, it's kind of cool. I got another one. Bart, this is what they look like if you want to see one.
Oh, crappie.
You're liking that drop kick. Bye, friend.
He just a couple feet off the bottom?
No, he was down in the brush pile.
I got one.
Me too. Double.
It's a baby. That whole PT spoon's gone though. Hey Griff, remember when you told me I wouldn't need a tungsten tool? Do you have one? Oh yeah, it is gone. Have you ever caught largemouth in this one?
Yeah.
Not quite.
Got him.
Getting better.
They're,
Slowly.
they're growing. I wonder if he's gonna eat it. Donk. They're just babies right now. These are the babies. Big Mama's coming. Just wait. Gotta let her warm up a little bit.
Got one. Engulfed. Oh boy. There we go. That new PT spoon. See you, buddy.
Stay still. I'll give you an update after I catch this next one.
Mm-hmm.
They're biting now, boys. Now we just need to get the bigger ones. Little update here. Just caught these two. Probably about an 8-incher and about a 10. But yeah, beautiful fish. Super pale because the water is super dirty. But what we're fishing here is just, there's 3 brush piles here. And what we did is we tried to come out and see if it was a morning bite, like right at sunrise. Definitely not. What I found yesterday is that the sunnier it got, the more they concentrated on these brush piles. So hopefully, as you can see, the sun's coming up now. I think the brighter it gets, the better it's gonna get. And I think the bigger ones will start moving in here. Because all we're catching is just like, what, maybe 11 inchers are biggest so far. But we got some 15s yesterday, so hopefully that happens here.
Hey. Get bigger.
Get up here. God, they're thick. They are getting bigger. That's a nice one. Weird. Hey, Bart. Got another one.
Get bigger.
Nope. Oh, give me a little chance.
Alright, bad enough. You want to get a drop kick.
I feel his little heart beating.
Time's over.
See if I call Bart down and catch nothing. Just kidding, Bart. Love you.
What'd you say?
Nothing?
Alright. Griff's been kicking my butt all morning on a white drop kick. I'm done. It's a drop XL with a white Mackie. We're going to work now. That didn't take long. Alright. As I always tell people when you're fishing with someone who's much better than you and they're catching more fish than you, just put on what they have. It's the smart decision. Immediately dropped on with a drop XL and a white Mackie. He's a baby, but he's a start. Okay, update. It's about 10 in the morning. Bite hasn't quite fired off yet. Catching some little ones. We're waiting for the sun to get higher for these fish to get in the brush piles. So we're gonna eat a snack until they eat. New sponsor for this year actually is Wild River beef jerky. Kind of shameless plug, but if you guys want a bunch of ice fishing snacks this year, we do have a discount code. So a link in the bio or description, and you can go get yourself a bunch of Wild River beef jerky too. And now we wait for him to bite. Here, Griff. There you go. There you go.
Ooh, little white crappie slime jerky. Oh, there goes Bart.
Really ice. Whoops.
Your afternoon feeders.
Crappie. It has been a long lull. of us looking for fish and trying to figure out what's going on, but I got this one little section where there's some fish. When we finally got another one, nice little white crappie. And there's another, oh, there's a bunch of them down there actually. Let's see if another one will bite. I don't know, maybe you need to fire them up. Like that. Another crappie. We're getting smaller though, that's not the goal. Not the goal of this show. Normally we aim to get bigger. Failing at that currently. No! I'm sorry, pal. Finally. Baby, I once again come to you from the peanut factory. See if we can catch the other one that's down there, huh? There's a better one. Oh, came off. Well, that was like a 12.5, 13. That's a good sign. Took forever to get him to bite though, which is not the best sign. Oh, sick. I'm in that brush pile now. That's what I deserve. Oh, got it off. Been a slow afternoon, but yeah, just lost that one. That was a good one. I mean, it was right in the hole. There's not very much ice, so not much I could do about it. Because they're like good X shots too. Because they come in and actually like come up after it. Compared to half the time on the river. Doesn't happen. There's a better one. Oh, just kidding. Come back. Grab one more.
Just got this nice one. 13.5-inch backwater white crappie. Beautiful. Super pale fish because the water is dirty. They kind of got this yellowish color to them, but yeah, we've been hole hopping, just kind of going brush pile to brush pile and kind of just seeing a lot of them, and they're really not active, and all of a sudden it's just like the sun got high enough and they're really starting to fire off now. They're lifting up in the water column. They're not really coming from the bottom. I'm gonna get this one back. We'll get bigger, but hopefully it just keeps going on. When I was out here yesterday, we didn't find these fish until the afternoon, so I think maybe that anywhere from now till like 2-3 o'clock is when they're really going to fire off. And so we're just going to keep at it and see what happens. I mean, these fish are now 3-4 feet off the bottom. There's one just came in there and absolutely throttled it. Another small one, but you never know on these backwaters when you set the hook what it's going to be. Is it going to be a 10-incher, a 18-incher, whatever? You know, every fish is different, but man, they're loaded down there now.
Holy a fish out of that brush pond.
Any size crappie will eat it too.
Bite fizzled out. It never really took off, to be honest. We had a little bit of a flurry in the mid-afternoon, and we're like, here we go, we're gonna get big ones. Griff caught a nice one, and nothing happened. So we're gonna get off, go get ready to head to the St. Paul Ice Show, maybe come back out tomorrow, not really sure. But the nice thing about the Chronicles is we always kind of take you guys along for the adventure. So we didn't really smash them too good today, but it's the start of the ice season. We're pumped about that and bring you along for the adventure. So yeah, we'll see. I don't think this is the end of the video. I don't know what's next, so we'll see.
All right, we're still looking for some really good fishable ice. The boys did get out and cracked a few crappies, which was super cool. But we're at the St. Paul Ice Show right now as we're filming this, getting it done. Super fun time at the meetup, and thanks to everyone that came out to the meetup and to our seminar. It was a packed house. Super fun time meeting up with all you guys and fans of the show. So we want to keep doing that. And a huge shout out to Tom Reeds for taking care of us here at Clam and everybody that comes to the St. Paul Ice Show. Love that place, and we go there every freaking time. So we're gonna get on the ice, find some stuff we can drill some holes in, and hopefully get some crappies. Let's go.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Crappie Chronicles. I am your host Adam Bartusik, and today is Monday, December 11th. Today's going to be a good one. So last year we traveled all the time. We fished a little bit in the metro when we got back home, but today we're back in the metro. A few weeks ago, Griff and I got out, started exploring some backwaters. Ice started getting real sketch. It got real warm. I think all of us are pretty aware of how bad the ice conditions have been in Minnesota and in the metro lately. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back and check on some of those things. It's been in the teens the last couple nights, so we think some of these are going to firm up and be pretty good. Last time Griff and I were out, the fish were a little skittish. I got my boys Ryan Pincala and Matt Waldron also joining, so today the hope is they're not skittish and we're back after that 18 and yeah, catching the biggest crappies you guys have ever seen. So let's go do the dang thing.
Not the same fish. Nice little white, first one of the morning. Me and Bart, the boys, came back to where we tried to film before, but they didn't cooperate with us as well, so hopefully they keep biting like that, because that was pretty quick. Oh, there is some fucking toads down there. There is a monster swimming around this brush pile, dude. Get these homegirls back. You knocked a little flat.
Holy crap. I just saw something come wade in, so I was like, yep, screw it. And that could not be more in his gills.
He couldn't have ate it any better.
You couldn't have ate it any better than that.
Throw it inside.
The white one?
You get that like a friggin' freight train. Another one on the Flash Minnow, Pinhead Pro.
Okay, so we've been out for a little bit. It's pretty slow. The usual, got to the brush piles, caught a few, and then there's a lot of fish not eating, which is not very typical for backwaters. Typically they're very aggressive, so I don't know if it's the clouds, that big front that came through. We got a big cold front that came in. They're just acting weird or what, but we started drilling some holes away from the brush piles to see if they're using like a channel or something else, because we've seen that before. So just gonna keep looking around for them, give this like a little bit more time, and we might go somewhere else. So, oh, I'm marking. Oh, he's gone. Nope, he's back. Little white crappie. And that's what we've been catching so far today. Little white crappies. He wasn't shy. Get him back. Maybe. So I got that one on. So that's just a drop XL. We use that a lot with the white Mackie. That's on Bart's Chronicle. So our whole Chronicle series of rods is available at Thorne Brothers. This one's super nice. We like it a lot in backwaters. You don't really need the spring bobber for backwaters because they tend to truck it, but we like it because of that parabolic bend. They tend to hit it so hard, it's nice to have a little bit of give when you're in shallow water. Ooh, there's a big one. But yeah, we're gonna keep trying to catch them. I'm starting to get some coming through this hole, so we'll see what happens.
baby. Get the white crappie. That's been the deal this morning. Well, they lost that big one a little bit ago, but got to work through these to get the big ends. Go back.
We are bouncing. Bite here was not fantastic this morning. Still, we got time to figure this place out. But we got another place we want to go to and check out. We haven't been there yet this year. This afternoon, there's going to be a big pressure drop right around sunset, and this is where we want to be. Want to be in a place where we can maybe catch an 18. Think we got a shot to do it as long as we can get out there. So we're going to try to be careful, chisel our way out, and go check some more ice. The metro is a little weird right now, so we'll get after it. It was still fun catching a few white crappies to start the day. Now we need some bigs.
The really cool thing about the backwaters is there is a very high level of unknown compared to a lot of the other types of fishing that we do.
On a lot of lakes, there's, you have your waypoints or a single basin or a weed edge that they like to pull up to, historically good spots. You do have historically good areas on the river, or backwaters or oxbows, but these fish change the way they're moving and how they're reacting every single year because the water level is never the same.
And depending on what the river did in the springtime, so if there were major flooding, you got new sandbars forming, you have log jams that are moving around. There's constantly things changing the game.
May it be high water years, low water years, you get a higher flood where you get more fish that come in. But just exploring, getting out there and like checking these things every year because they change.
It's one of those things, here today, gone tomorrow type of scenario where it's not waypoint fishing like some of these lakes are, fishing an individual basin. There's a lot more exploration that needs to happen to really find and stay with the fish. So it's really a chess game to figure out where these fish are moving, and the more often you can go and put the time in and stick with where these fish are at, the more success you're gonna have in finding the big ones.
You can take that exploration on the backwaters as far as you want, because the farther you get away, the better it gets. So that is one area that makes the backwaters just a blast, is it'll give you back what work you are willing to put into it.
So you got to go check them out, because one may be dead for a few years and next thing you know, you go back there and you're catching giants.
In my opinion, the reason that these places are so fertile is just the pure amount of shad that the river can pump.
There are so many shad in the rivers, it is insane. And it seems to be there's even more and more and more coming up now.
I mean, they're just eating Twinkies all the time.
So these fish just have an endless food chain that they can just feed on. And so they're really reliant on that river to flood and bring them, not only just more fish into these backwaters every year, but also bait.
It's just constantly getting pumped with new fish and new food.
Big?
Nope. Feisty.
On him. That one just cruised in, came right up on that thing. Little Mackie white, launched it. Sick.
That was a decent one. There's a good one. Nice black crappie. Thick one. It's got some shoulders to it. That would be a good eater. And that is on a bait that you can't see. I tell you what though, I stuck him. There he is. Hooked him right in the brain.
Here. Got the one. It's definitely smaller than I hoped, but it's a start. It might actually be a baby hybrid. They don't like the bubbles. I was gonna say they'll probably bite again.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Angry one. Darted right at the bottom of the hole there. Crazy. Came up and crushed that thing though. Same bait. Backwaters, they love that white. Heck yeah.
Haywire. There's a good one. That's a solid fish right there. That is a solid fish. Super fat. That's hard to beat. I'm in 2.5 foot of water right now. You can barely see my bait on my Vex. Cone angle is so tight that it just keeps swimming in and out. There's a nice white right there. Drop kick with a Jamie XL. Booyah.
All right, welcome back to the Frozen Kitchen. We're out here on the ice today. We just got back from a long, brutal trip to western Minnesota. It was super slow, but the whole crew got in really late last night, and our plan was to cook at Bart's parents' house in the middle of the night, which was obviously ridiculous, so we didn't do that. So we're gonna do it here on the ice today, where it's beautiful outside, and we're gonna have a good time. So what we're gonna make today is a crappie katsu sandwich, which I think is gonna be awesome. We got the full on-ice kitchen setup ready to rip. But the one thing I wanna talk about before we get into that at all is Break Your PB, our beer collaboration with Giesenbräu in New Prague, Minnesota. This beer is available across the state right now at a ton of different resorts and bars, on tap and in cans. So if you want to get your hands on some of our Break Your PB, check it out. Look at Giesenbräu's website. We're going to put up all the places it's available right here, right now. So check that out and get yourself some Break Your PB. Let's get into cooking. Like I said, we got back last night and we did keep a few fish, so we were luckily, we had 5 crappies worth of fish. So what I did is I took the fillets from those 5, like 9 to 11 inchers, put them in a food processor, and we got them here. So they're all pretty much minced up at this point. And what we're gonna do now is get this patty rolling. So a katsu sandwich is essentially a fried patty with a katsu sauce on it, which we're gonna make also, and on just a pillowy white bread. So I'm gonna take all that minced fish, drop it right into this bowl, and I'm only going to add a few things to it. So I have some green onion here. I'm just going to mince up like the lower half, just the white part, and about 3 inches of the green part. We'll get that in here. A little mayo, a little bit of catch and cook seasonings, and then just some panko breadcrumbs. We're going to bread it and catch and cook at the end. We're going to double batter it though, so it'll be catch and cook and then panko on the outside. So I'm going to get these minced up. We'll get this thing made. Okay, so the only seasoning I'm gonna add to this, I got the mayo in there, I got the green onions, and I got some panko. I'm gonna add the campfire catch and cook seasoning, so this is a smoked salt. That's the only thing I'm gonna add into this right now. I do have the whiteout, which I'm gonna actually put in the coating, but for patty, it's just gonna be the smoked salt. So I'm gonna add the catch and cook spicy breading to a plate right here. Try to keep it from blowing away in the wind, but there's gonna be 2 coatings on this. So the initial one, I'm gonna make the patties and then dredge them in this with nothing wet on them at all. Then I'm gonna do an egg wash on the outside and lay them in panko. So we're gonna look for a really thick, crispy coating on this. Should give it a nice rough exterior. Okay, so I'm just gonna portion this out. I think I'm gonna try to make like 3 patties here, and want them to be fairly thick, so about like 3/4 of an inch thick probably. And I'm just going to make them as square as possible because I'm going to be laying them into a kind of a big piece of bread essentially, and I'm going to be cutting the sides very straight. So the goal is to make a little bit of an oversized chunk, and we'll fry those up in our breading.
Okay, so now what we're gonna do is fry these things up. I got a little butane stove here. I love these for coming out on the ice or traveling anywhere. They're super light and they work really good. Just gotta keep the gas bottles warm. So we've been sticking them in our bibs while we're kind of waiting to get things going here, because if the gas bottle gets cold, they don't burn so good. So get the pan on here, get the heat cranked up, and I'm just gonna shallow fry these. So I don't need a lot of oil, just enough to basically coat the bottom of the pan. Let that get hot, and then we're gonna brown these bad boys up and get them on some bread. So the key with the bread, katsu sandos are typically made with Japanese milk bread, which can be pretty hard to find. The best alternative I've found is this really thick cut sliced white bread. You want thicker the better. It's got a lot of air in it, so it's a nice pillowy bread for this, because you really want a soft bread to just wrap around those patties. So use thick sliced white bread, or if you can find Japanese milk bread, even better. Okay, katsu sauce is pretty simple. If you have like an Asian market by your house, you can probably find it there. It's just called tonkatsu sauce. It's just like kind of a barbecue sauce with Worcestershire in it, but we're just gonna whip it up. It's only 4 ingredients, so it's ketchup, Worcestershire sauce, a little bit of soy sauce, and then some brown sugar. So if you want to know exactly how to make it, there's tons of recipes out there, but it's like 75% ketchup and then a little bit of Worcestershire brown sugar, and it's just a little bit of soy. And a little bit of sweetness for the brown sugar really goes well with the fish. A lot of times you can make this with chicken or pork, but these ground fish patties are gonna be awesome with this. So that's it, whip it up. If you want it to be thicker, just add a little bit more ketchup. Otherwise, thin it out with the soy sauce. All right, I'm gonna pull these out. I got them, they've been cooking about 3 to 4 minutes on each side, just till they're nice and crispy. You can hear really crispy, that panko and that catch and cook breading just got mega crisp, which is exactly what we want. So I'm gonna get these things out, and while they're still hot, I'm gonna take that katsu sauce and just spread it on the top of each one so it starts to soak in a little bit. And then we're gonna build these sandwiches. The only thing that's gonna go on them is a little mayo and then some shredded cabbage. And then I'll show you how to cut these up, because they have a very specific look to this type of sandwich that you gotta cut just the edges of everything off, and they will look premium. Okay, so I'm gonna take 2 slices of that extra thick white bread, lay them out here, a little bit of mayo, and I do a little bit on each side because the sauce is only on the patty, so I'm not actually going to put the sauce onto the bread. Keep it from getting too soggy there. Just a light mayo on there. Now I have some shredded cabbage, so we're going to lay a little bit of that down. That'll also help kind of keep the bread from sogging out from the sauce. And the finer it's shredded, the better for this. But it should give us a really nice crunch in there. This sandwich is all about different textures, so having the really crispy fish, the crunchy cabbage on the bun, and the really, really soft bread is what kind of makes it all work together. So now I'm gonna put that with the sauce side down, and then sauce the other side of that. All right, then I'm just gonna top it off, and what makes a katsu sando a katsu is now that we're gonna trim essentially the crust off of everything, and with that patty we're gonna cut the sides off, so we're gonna end up with an exposed side on every side of this sandwich. So these are snacks for the chef right here. All right, so you're left with this right here, and what we're gonna do is just cut this into thirds without crushing that bread. That's really keeping all that airiness in there is what we want to do. So that right there is an awesome katsu sandwich. I'm gonna crush one of these and we're gonna build the rest of them up. And I think these are gonna be absolutely delicious with some fresh crappie from yesterday. All right, we banged these out. I think we're just gonna chill and crush these for a little bit. The fishing kind of slowed down, but we're gonna try to maybe get a few more bites. We're not totally sure what's gonna happen the rest of the week here, but we're definitely gonna keep looking for better ice conditions. But right now, we're gonna eat some food, maybe catch a couple more crabbies and get out of here. So, crappie katsus, make them up.
What are you looking at me for?
Take a bite.
That's really good. What's that sauce?
Katsu sauce.
It's really good. Oh yeah. Nice work, Pink, as always. Yeah, they're like right there. 5 feet in front of Waldo. Huh?
It's either a bunch of water fish or
Jesus. do that a lot in the backwaters. You jump back out of the hole.
Go. Bye.
See your lips. Really?
That was quick. Just drop down, boink, drop down, boink. Another little white.
A solid black one, nothing crazy, but beautiful fish. Stinky.
Not bad. That one was right under the ice. It was pretty sick. I actually was dropping my jig down and he hit it on the way down. It caught me off guard. I dropped it back and just came in and crushed it. Sick.
Trying to breathe.
There's another solid one. Gosh, they're just so thick. So I just got this nice guy. Haven't gotten a big one, but it was a good numbers day. I mean, we caught a ton of fish. It was a lot of fun, and that one came on a drop kick and a very torn up Jamie XL. But yeah, let this guy go. Yeah, it was a good day to get back on the backwaters, but I don't know when we're going to be back out because we got some really warm temps coming and it is not looking good for ice fishing. So what we do next, I have no idea, but it's not going to be in the metro. So one of the reasons why we do always go to the backwaters is because it's home to some of the biggest crappies in the state, if not the upper Midwest.
So historically, there's really always been big fish coming out of the river, particularly crappies. I mean, the Minnesota state record has been held for such a long time.
There's been stories of just what lives there, you know, what you can catch, what you might hook into.
If you want to catch the biggest crappies in the upper Midwest, everyone says go to the backwaters. We also believe that some of the lakes around in this area, like we've talked about and shown, have some very, very large crappies, but it is undeniable how big the crappies are in the backwaters. And like we've talked about with how fertile they are, how fast they grow.
I've talked to some guys that net carp, and they talk about the crappies that they're throwing out while they're doing the carp netting, and they say they're absolutely monstrous, you know, 18, 19, even 20 inches long.
And there's like these smaller populations of fish that live in certain sections of the river, and when they migrate in and out, those are really your only opportunities to maybe stick one of these super big fish. So it's really interesting at, you know, how many of the fish are probably actually not even able to be targeted just because of how sketchy it is getting around. There's so many springs and things like that that make a lot of it inaccessible during the wintertime.
They have so much room to hide at every other time of year that when they finally get capped, the possibilities are endless if you can find them in a certain area.
That's why we constantly go. That high risk, high reward is something that we love to live off of, and it fuels us when we go out there because we know at any moment it could be the one.
Okay, so we're out on the ice. We're in just a little chute, and like we said, so as everyone knows, there's been a bunch of rain recently. Water's come up. Ice on the shorelines can be a little bit sketchy, but once you get in the middle, it's there. So we're out on some good ice. We're on like 4 to 5 inches now, and yeah, looking forward to seeing if these crappies are starting to move into the cuts with the water rising. So we're pretty pumped up about it. It's nice to be back on ice within 60 miles, so let's have some fun.
There's a perfect eater. Super pale. That one came on the That one came on the white swirl drop kick with the orange, and a Jamie XL in white. River backwaters, we like to use white a lot. And that one, freight trained it. I was jigging about 2.5 foot off bottom. And that one came in. A lot of times you will have them come in on the bottom, but they're anywhere in this water column when it's this shallow, so I like to usually just do some column climbs, but kind of keep it right in the middle almost.
They're definitely here though, because I keep getting them to come in. Seems like there's a lot of bluegills. There we go. Nice solid first fish of the morning. Thick river fish, probably about a 12. But we're using his drop kick with a white Mackie. I know that's weird, but it works. Keep using it. Another nice flathead. Just choking that plastic. Just about 5 feet of water. They're about 2.5, 3 feet down. Just got to jig hard and they come in very aggressive.
This is large. It's not as big as I thought he was. When he went flat under the hole, I was like, I've seen this before. He's got a lot of spunk though.
He does. He's got hot.
Look at the forehead. They're so tall. All right, there's my first one in the morning. Just a brick. That's a real nice one. These river fish, they get so tall and their head is just enormous. So it's jigging like 3 feet off the bottom, like Griff said. And I'll get this one back. This is a war horse. But was jigging like 3 feet off the bottom and barely even marked it, just straight up and ate it. And that's why these river fish are so fun. They're so freaking aggressive. And we're just getting the morning started. We'll put a little something together, and we're looking for a true freak today. Oh, what are you? What the f just happened?
Dude, you just got to keep it real.
Yeah, he's super nice.
Oh, it's a largie. Oh, really? Big largie.
Big largie.
Yeah, I saw him at the hole. Might be like a 3-pounder probably.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
That's a 3.
Look at that.
It's a 3-pound definitely.
So I was marking and I kept having something come in, come out, come in, come out. And then all of a sudden I had a brick eat and I was like, oh my God. I thought I saw this mouth and I was like, it's her. Nope. Nice big largie. Probably like a 3-pounder.
Oh yeah.
That's fun. All right, see you, pal.
Nice one there. Drop kick again. White Mackie. 2-3 feet under the ice. There's your results. Look at the wee little one. A wee laddie. Alright, so a little update. We're out here. Been out here probably like half hour, 45 minutes, and just kind of trying to figure out the pattern and where they're at in the water column, because a lot of times in these backwaters they'll pick like a certain depth in the water column, and that's where you basically got to just keep your bait up there. They just appear on it. You really don't see them come in on the Vex and chase it. They just basically appear and they're on your bait super fast. So it's really fun, but we're just using plastics, you know, drop kick and different white plastics. You know, we're all using something different, but yeah, just keep it up in the water column, keep a good jigging action, and just attract them to you. And once they find you, they come in and just hammer it. But Yeah, we were marking a lot of fish lower too, and we found out that those are either rough fish or bluegills. So now we're just kind of staying up in the water column, and the results have been good. We've got probably about 10, 15 crappies now, and you know, probably 5, 6 of them good eaters. So we're just gonna keep at it. I don't know, I think he's just got spunk. I could see him going around in circles down there. White crappie. That's the first white I've caught. Beautiful crappie. Look at them bars. He'll eat.
I was marking him when I got to the hole. That's very rare on the river. Normally they come in and just crush you, but I was marking him when I got here. That's cool. Little guy, just using a drop XL. We really like this drop XL. It's got a bigger hook in it. Hookup ratio is way better on crappies. But just a white one, the white Mackie minnow on it. Anything white on the river always slays since they're eating shad. That crappie's angry. Jumped out of the hole. That one is a perfect eater. Perfect eater. Nice 11-incher. Keep a couple for Pink so he can do some of that cooking stuff for you guys, but we're looking for a real big one. And as always, let the big ones go.
There's a solid one right there. That one might be a little too big to keep. That one came in 2 foot down, and I had no idea. And all of a sudden, the rod was just... He don't want to go. He wants to go in the bucket. Oh, let that go. I'm using that new Dropkick Swirl. It's got some orange pattern to it, and then a white Jamie XL. River backwaters, there's pretty much one thing that they eat, and that's shad. So anything white usually does pretty solid. Every once in a while we'll switch it up to like a black, but usually we're using a white plastic, and that Jamie XL really just pushes water and moves a lot of water around, which is good when it's stained water because it gives them a little bit easier time finding it. And then make sure that knot is pointing back at the hook. That's going to keep it holding out horizontal. But I'm not even pulling any line out at all. I got my drag pretty locked, and I'm just going to drill them and then bow down with them. But that was a fun one. I love backwater fishing. The best part about it is they kind of surprise you. You don't really realize that they're even on your bait. Doesn't matter how wide your cone is, they're just there. And they come in at the same height, and right now it seems like 2 foot down, no matter where we are in the channel, is the deal.
Come here. Nice one. All right, there's another nice eater, probably. Probably don't need to keep too many more, to be honest, but we'll keep this guy. About a perfect eater, 11-incher. We keep all those ones, 9 to 12. That's kind of what we live by, but that one, I literally readjusted my plastic, dropped down 3 feet, and he just came in and ate it. So, like Griff said, just figuring out the water column they're in is the biggest thing with these backwater crappies, and we've figured out they're riding about 3 feet down. That seems to be what they're doing today. And now, we're just looking for a freakazoid. Like we said, the water came up, we had floods, so finally everything got a little bit redistributed. We're hoping for a real big one today, but it's nice to be back out on the ice and having fun. I mean, that's the name of the game here, so
Can't complain about this. These fish are fun.
I actually think it might be. I'm trying to see him underneath the ice. I can't see him very good. I think it's a good one. No, it's a good one.
All right, just popped this one. This is a good old-fashioned river horse. We're working our way up to getting a real freak, but look at how big their fins are when they get on the river and stuff. They're built so good, so thick. We'll see how big this one is. Definitely the biggest one we've caught today. 13 and a half. So not the biggest one we've ever gotten on the river, but that is a great fish and a great start to the day. So the thing is, with these fish over 12 inches, you let them go, and he is pissed. So we have our rod series at Thorne Brothers. We've used a bunch of different ones this year. You guys have seen a lot of pinks and a lot of GRIFFs. This is Bart's Chronicle. So you don't necessarily need the spring bobber on the river. We like it for bite detection, but they tend to just crush it on the river. So the reason you like this rod on the river, though, is it's very parabolic, so it absorbs a hook set really good. Like you saw with that one I caught, he was only 2 feet down, set the hook, and all of a sudden it's pancaked, and you need that to alleviate pressure and be able to catch them. So yeah, it's a good start. We're gonna look for one quite a bit bigger than that, but it's a good start to the day. A lot of fun.
Seems like you got to be like 5 feet or shallower, you know? Every time I've gotten in like 7, I just see other things.
Oh my God. I was looking at my phone. That's a big one. No, but I got him. We're learning.
Just popped this one. I was admittedly looking at my phone, and my jig was about 1.5 feet under the ice, and he came in and absolutely train wrecked it. Look at how thick this fish is all the way back through the tail. These river fish are crazy, man. This is probably, the bump's not close, but this one's probably about a 13. So, like we said, anything over 12, we put back, and they are ornery and they are mean. So, bite kind of slowed down for a little bit. It tends to do that on these backwaters from like that 10 to noon time frame, but things are starting to heat up. Bigger fish are starting to show up, and crossing our fingers for a chance at one of those real big ones.
You had it in zoom, that's why you couldn't see it. Just popped this nice river beast, 13 and a half, 13 and 3/4. Beautiful fish. We had a pretty good lull. I'm gonna let this one go, a little too big to keep. Hi, girl. Yeah, we had a little lull, so we kind of started hole hopping, and it seems like they're everywhere, but they kind of go in little spurts of how they want to bite. Like, we'll get them really good, and then they'll shut down, and then all of a sudden we'll run into them again. But they're very spread out this year. Usually we find them, they're in one like key specific location, and everywhere we went in here, we've caught them. So it's not like normal, but I think this afternoon here, like it's like noon right now, I think the bite's going to get real hot, and we'll probably have that 2-hour window where we typically seem to get the bigger ones, and so hopefully that happens.
We decided to take a little lunch break. Bite kind of slowed down, so I grabbed some beef jerky. You can get this at Quick Trip. It's really good. I don't really know what the game plan is right now. I think we're going to probably maybe add some more holes on some of these current themes or breaks. Maybe a couple of us can post up in one of the trees that are laying down on the bottom. But yeah, I think we're just going to have to wait it out and keep bouncing around. When we fished this in the past, it's really seemed like there's just big waves of fish that come in and out. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're just going to sit here and wait for another wave of fish to push through. We've been catching them sporadically, but it was quite a bit better rate when we got here. So, I don't know. Maybe it starts to get better again.
There's one. Like we said, they kind of come through in spurts. And I think we got another group starting to come through now.
Go one.
Beautiful one. I don't need to measure it, but it's probably like 12 3/4, 13. Nice solid fish. Super thick. But we're gonna go ahead and probably let this guy go. That one was on a 16th ounce white drop kick with a motor oil Mackie. So I kind of went for a little weird color that doesn't really look that good. Just a little contrast, and finally caught one. It was a long drought. Sweet. That one came on the Waldo's Chronicle. And I actually put a spinning reel on here just because I wanted a little bit better drag in the shallow water and a little more power and control, just in case I have to get them up out of something. So I went with the spinning reel. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's a beautiful fish. Probably 14. Wow. 13 and a half, and it is just round. 13 and a quarter. 13 and a quarter, and it's just freaking round. That for sure was gonna go 14. Look at that thing. 1 pound, 6.9 ounces, so just under a pound and a half. 1 pound, 6.9 ounces. It's a solid one. Beautiful. Let's go.
That's a pretty white one. The coloration on that fish. It's pretty cool. Love those things.
Maybe, yeah, 1 or 2. I just want one of these. We've never even got the fish down.
Got him. Big. No, that was so big. That was so big. That was so big. That was so big. That was so big.
We're on them. They're back.
Game on.
Game on. Not quite the size we were catching this morning. Crappie! I'm just dialed, boys. I don't know what to tell you. Another little one. Like I said, back on them. These guys said it got tough. I'm not quite feeling that.
Wow, okay.
I'm kidding. I don't want the wrath of Griff. Just choking this drop XL. If you use that Mackie minnow, that's the key. All right, another good one, but we're good on eaters.
That too is done. All right, so yeah, so it's getting a little later in the day, but I just popped this 12-incher. We're gonna throw that on the ice for Pink to cook up. But what we figured out is in the morning, the fish were on the other side of this channel. And now that it's getting darker, we're actually came back to this side, which we found that before when we fit these backwaters, that they'll switch sides of the river based on where the light is. And right now they moved over here. Me and Bart both moved over thinking that same thing, and boom, we started catching them again. We haven't really caught any in an hour, and all of a sudden he got a couple, I got a couple, and we're starting to see a lot more fish. So hopefully it keeps up and get a big one. Oh, here's another one.
Today where I just see a couple green flickers and then my string bobbers.
That one's round. Look at the build on this dude. It wasn't coming off ever. That was nice. Probably close to a 13-incher there. I'm not going to measure them because we've caught a lot that size, so let her go.
That is also the worst feeling in the world. When you set the hook and your jig flies out and sits next to the hole and you're like, damn it. Where'd you come from? Oh boy, that's hurt. Oh, it's not that big. It's a big one though. Its mouth came up and did the like wallow, and I was like, oh my god. Oh, that was fun. They're definitely starting to bite better. It was really slow for a while there, but this one came in. I was just jigging like 2 feet down. I didn't even mark him, and yeah, you can tell this is a fresh one from the river because you see how he's just much more dull. Not as many colors and everything. Very fresh fish. So they're just moving in from the main channel kind of this time of year. Just built. They're so stocky and so much fun. This one's probably once again around that 13 and a quarter inch mark, just like we've caught a pile of today. Look at that forehead. It's so cool. But probably get this one back, and yeah, just keep trying to get them bigger. A nice one. Another nice one that would be a good eater, but we got plenty. Just working real shallow again. This is another real fresh one right out of the river. They're moving in. Hope we can get one freakazoid.
Okay. Let's see here. Right at 12 and a quarter, 12 and 3/8. Let this guy go. That's a nice fish. Super tall. Almost looks like a greenback. It's very iridescent green going through there. That raised lateral line too. These things are nuts. Dirty water shallow crappies. The best.
Okay, so sun is setting and it has been a good day. Good time back out in the metro. I can't believe we had to wait until January to do that, but yeah, back within 60 miles. We're happy to be here and get back on the ice tomorrow. So fun time exploring the backwaters. You guys kind of got to see a lot of what the last month has been like for us, just looking for ice. So we're glad the ice season's finally here. The merch store is open, so you guys can grab any of our stuff, and we will see you on the next episode. So thank you so much for watching.